So yes, this part of the video is going to be what's a GPU. A GPU, known as the graphics processing unit, basically derives the display for your computer. Okay, let's take it into simpler terms because it probably doesn't make any sense to you. You have a CPU, right? Let's say you want to search up what's 1 plus 1. Search it up. Come on, just search it up. Your CPU is the one which is taking the task, executing it, and then giving the result, which is stored in the RAM. But what's going to take the result and display it on your computer in the correct way? Well, this is where the GPU comes in. Or in most computers, the iGPU, which takes the information, decodes it, and processes the correct calculations to put it in the correct orderly fashion on your computer display. Without the GPU, you'll just be doing a bunch of things, and you won't even know what you're doing. Okay, that's what a GPU is. Well, you may not have a GPU in your computer. Okay, most computers, you may be thinking, hey, why didn't the company advertise the GPU as part of its product? Well, that's because most laptops, or most kids, or most laptops have an iGPU, or the Integrated Graphics Processing Unit, which, sneakily, comes with your CPU and GPU, which is put into a CPU category. Because a GPU, well, it's not really a GPU, because the main function of it is to just display things. So yeah, it's basically gonna be the iGPU. It's most likely gonna be very weak unless you have a Vega 11, which is like a god for iGPU. Anyways, iGPU, they don't advertise it because it's basically your display. It's not intended to play games on it unless you have a Vega 11. So yes, that's what the GPU. Well, okay, that's the GPU. So now, if you're thinking, well, Sanjay, every computer has an integrated GPU, so what's a real GPU look like? Well, it looks like this. So in the middle, we have the core, or basically the brain. On the side, we have the display output. We have mostly HDMI and the power. And this is the power connector. 8-pin. Most of them have 6 pins, but okay. These are the transistors. And on the side, this is video RAM. Basically, a real dedicated GPU is basically like its own computer. For example, in the middle, we have the CPU, or the GPU, graphics processing unit. On the side, we have the VRAM, which is basically RAM, except its dedicated intended purpose is only to use graphics. But this doesn't mean you can still use that video RAM, as normal RAM. On the side, we got transistors and some complicated stuff NVIDIA never tells us, or else nobody can copy them. On the side, we have the display output. In the mid, this is the SSD, or the tiny SSD. And yeah, it's basically it. Also, next video, I will be telling you what's the difference between a CPU and a GPU. Well, what's the difference? Well, at the beginning, it may look very different. Well, trust me, there's literally almost no difference at all. Okay, so in the middle, we have the CPU, and in the middle, we have the CPU, or the GPU. This, on the CPU, is the RAM, except on the GPU, it's soldered. So, the reason is on a GPU, you cannot just add more RAM like you can do on a gaming PC or build your own computer. Since it's soldered, for example, a CPU has many different components, and a CPU can work together easily with other components, easily. But a GPU, on the other hand, is basically like its own thing. Because it's soldered, you cannot really do anything. For example, it's soldered so GPU can have direct access. Because if it wasn't soldered, then it would basically make no sense. Seriously. So yes, here are my reasons why. The physical limitations of the graphic card make it difficult to add a bracket to add more RAM. Well, what this basically says is because a GPU is so small, you can't just add more RAM because it would just make the GPU bigger. And also, this would cost NVIDIA more money because they have to make the GPU bigger. The second reason is that the VRAM is directly soldered onto the graphics card, allowing the VRAM modules to sit closely to the GPU, allowing for quicker transfer between VRAM and GPU, increasing graphic processing performance. Well, like I said, this basically means is that, let me show you an example. Let's say you have an arm, okay? And then there's, let's say you have an arm, okay? It's connected directly to your body. But let's say you have another arm, but that doesn't make sense. So yes, I have a bionic arm, and with the bionic arm, your brain just cannot transfer the correct signals to your arm to make it move, since you have a bionic arm. So with the bionic arm, it needs to go through an extra process to convert those signals into, well, the language the bionic arm uses, because our body has our own language. Well, in a sense, what I mean by language is that it uses its own way to communicate. Like, there's signals throughout our body, the nerves, and all that stuff. But with a bionic arm, it's going to use electric motors and stuff like that. And our body cannot just send the same signals to our arm in order for it to work. So it has to go through an extra step to convert those signals into, binary, zeros and ones. Zero meaning there's no electric signal, and one meaning there is. So because it has to go through an extra step, this decreases, let's just say, let's just say it decreases. Well, basically, it's just going to lag in a sense. So it's going to take, since it has to go through an extra process, it's going to take probably it's going to take a few more milliseconds. But when it comes to a GPU, a few more milliseconds isn't enough. All it takes is 1 millisecond from that Fortnite player in front of you to kill you. So that's why the RAM, you cannot use it. Since it's going to cause lag, just like it's your bionic arm, it's going to cause an extra step, which could mean an extra second. When with the GPU, you cannot give an extra, not even a millisecond, because that Fortnite player in front of you can just kill you. All it takes 1 millisecond for him to be first and you to be second. And when you're competing for $100,000, that is not going to be very helpful. So yeah, that's another reason. The third reason is graphics cards aren't necessarily designed to allow variable amounts of RAM. This would allow add a layer of complexity by changing how the graphics card addresses and accesses the memory. Well, basically, like I said, it would just cause more problems. Because, for example, the bionic arm is since there's gonna be a translator in the middle, this is gonna cause, difficulties for it to communicate properly. Like this, it may malfunction, it may do stuff. So yeah, that's because it may malfunction, it may not work sometimes. That's not a good idea. So yes, today we're gonna be taking a look at 4 different GPUs. The GT 710 for $30. This RX 570 for a retail price of $240. This RTX 3090, which you cannot even find for $1,500, but let's just say it's a $1,500. And the RTX 8000, which cost $5,000, $5,600 if you add tax. So yes, what do you think is going to be the most bang for the buck? This one, or the RX 570, obviously. So yes. Do you think you're going to have this? So if we jump from the GT 710 to the RX 570, well, what's it going to be different? More VRAM, higher clock speeds, a better architecture, blah, blah, blah. So yes, this is going to be the biggest performance jump. But if we go from the RX 570 to the 3090, the performance jump isn't going to be that big. And when it comes to gaming, at least, from the RTX 3090 to the RTX 8000, RTX 3090 is going to win, but is $4,000 less. So why, you ask? Do they sell the RTX 8000? Well, This card is for content creation. For example, if you see in movies, you have, I don't know, like Monsters Inc., Toy Story, all those things. What this card does, it's for rendering a frame. For example, what a GPU does is it takes already pre-rendered frames and will kind of put them together in a sense. Well, the RTX 8000 starts from scratch to render it. Okay, let's take this. You have pizza, and you already bought the ingredients from the grocery store to make it. All you have to do is put them together, and voila, and put it in the oven, and voila, you got your pizza. But the RTX 8000, on the other hand, you don't even have it. You have to start from scratch. You have to farm. You have to farm the bread dough. Make it by yourself. You have to farm the ingredients. I don't know, kill some. I don't know. Farm the pork. Put them together. Make every ingredient. You have to start from scratch, and then you put it together. So there's an extra process of making the ingredients. Well, why is that, you ask? So it's CGI because you're making a new thing. With a video game, it's already rendered, it's already made there, and you just gotta use it. But with the other hand, the RTX 8000, you have to make it yourself. You have to make it. It's like starting from scratch, like the absolute basics. So yes, that's the difference. And the RX 570 the RX 570 or the 3070 is what most people are gonna have. The GT 710 is for really low end gamers. RTX 3090, that's reserved for those have the money. They have the money.